Today we're going to be talking about some of the basic operations of the drill press, some of the adjustments and things you need to know. So we're going to start off with the platform here. What you need to know about that is it is adjustable. You can move it up and down. You can use this lever here to bring it down or up, and you can even move it to the side if needed, and then you can lock it into place when you got it at the height that you need. The next measurement we're going to talk about is on the handle itself. So right here on the handle itself, there is a little notch right here, and this little notch indicates where 0 is at. And so if I want to go to a depth of a 1/2 inch or an inch, that's kind of a good indicator of how far it's going to go. Then if I want to lock that into place, I can set this right here, and it's going to be stopping at the indicated, let's say, an inch right here. So it's going to stop at an inch. So to operate this, you're just going to put your finger in there and adjust the stop to where it needs. So it'll keep it from drilling any further. The other thing that it has is kind of a sacrificial piece of plastic here, because it is possible to set the drill up to where the drill starts to interfere down here. So you don't want that to happen, because that could damage the drill bit and the surface. So this is kind of a temporary sacrificial piece, but I don't have replacements for that. So what we do is use a piece of wood for a sacrificial piece. So that means that you can get the drill to mark into here, and it's not going to matter because this is a scrap piece of wood. All right, so let's talk about some of the other functions of the drill press. It has a feature here for a light, so you can kind of help line things up to where it needs to be. Another function it has is a laser, but the laser is not something that you would use because it's calibrated to a certain height of the bed. It's kind of like a gun sight. You would have to sight that in every time, so we don't use the laser. But the next thing I want to talk about is the chuck key. And I have a magnet up here, and I have some bright tape on there to kind of help it stand out, to remind you this is its location. It also has a spring on here, so when you adjust this to tighten it or loosen it, you have to kind of push in with the spring. The purpose for that is because in case someone got distracted, the key wouldn't stay in there. So that's the purpose for this. And next we're going to talk about some of the drill bits that we could be selecting. You want to select a drill bit that is the proper size of the diameter of the hole that you want to make. This one has 3 flat sides on it that kind of makes it easily centered in the chuck, and the other ones are just round, so it's a little more challenging sometimes to get it in there. This one we use for making the locations for the dice. We'll talk about maybe that one more in a minute. And let's set one in there properly so you can see what the drill press is going to do. So down here, you can see these pieces of metal coming in to clamp the drill in place, and you can see that's why I have the flatness on the drill bit. So I tighten it down by hand, and then the next thing I'm going to do is put the key in there and hit it just a couple of times, just kind of a little bit beyond snug. So now when we turn it on, I'll put my key back up here. Now when we turn it on, it should look very straight and centered. So when we're not cutting wood, this is called a dry run. So sometimes a dry run, you just want to see the operation before you turn it on. So it's not deep enough on there. And let's say that I want to make sure I don't hit the base plate. Well, I have the stop on here, and let's say I want to go down to a certain depth right here. That's ensuring that I don't go into the base plate, okay? So this is what's called a dry run. We set it up without turning the power on. But if I do just want to inspect it to make sure that the drill bit is set in there correctly, I can go ahead and turn it on. If you notice, it was spinning straight and centered. But now, just for reference, I'm going to put one in there off-centered, so you'll see that it's important to get it in there. So I'm backing it out. I can kind of use my fingers to make sure I'm going the right direction. I'm backing that out. I'm going to put the other drill bit in. And this time I'm going to put it in incorrectly. This is not how you want to put it in. But you'll notice just two of the little metal teeth are biting it here. So I kind of tightened it up there. Now I'm going to turn it on. You're going to notice quite a difference in the look of the drill bit. So obviously that's not something that you would want. The next drill bit we've talked a little bit about from Lab 2. It needs to be centered in there as well. Okay, this one, what we'll use this bit for is we're going to use it to begin to practice on the depth of the dots that you want for your dice. So you'd get a scrap piece of 4x4 like this, and you would keep working with it and set your depth to exactly how you wanted it, so all of them would look uniform. They'd look the same. So that's what you would do to prepare for Lab 2. So we'll talk about a couple other considerations with the drill press. One of the biggest considerations is your eyes. When you operate this, you would need eyeglass safety protection. So when you operate this, you do need safe protection for your eyes. You need some safety glasses. And the other thing that's a really big safety concern that you need to be aware of is with the drill bit turning so fast, like strings from a hoodie or other loose clothing can get wrapped up in there and pull you into the tool, which could cause a lot of injury. So we don't want that happening by any means. So it doesn't look like a very dangerous tool, but it can turn things pretty bad for you. So you want to make sure you're wearing your safety glasses, and of course in the shop rules you don't have any hoodies on when you're operating the tools or in the shop. So hopefully that answers some of the questions that you have, and hopefully you'll have a safe time learning how to use the drill press.